Am I on? All right, I think I'm on. Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen. Yours truly here, Marcus, creating another video. I just got done creating a short educational video on reloading. And then while I was doing that, my message center on Facebook clicked. And as you guys know, I don't normally create videos just to answer a question. If that question has been repetitive more than twice, 3 or more times, then I'll just make it sweet and simple and create a video to answer those questions. Okay, so this question came about because, as everybody know, what I do for a living. I'm a real estate agent, and my forte is military service members. That doesn't mean I cannot represent a non-military or civilian entity, group, organization, family, or whoever they may be to buy or purchase a house. It's just that people come to me for this sort of advice with regards to military. And you guys know me, I am very passionate. It's very heartwarming when I talk about the military, especially its men and women who serves so that we get to do now what we get to do. All right, so the question is, what makes this is coming from a real estate agent, by the way. This is not coming from another would-be client, another buyer or a homeowner. No, this is actually two agents that had contacted me, and a third one that had contacted me today, where the questions are somewhat similar, because they wonder what makes it easy for me to represent our service members. I mean, of course, I'm biased. I kind of know how it is. But if you are a real estate agent and you live in any of these Navy communities, not having that opportunity to serve, I do believe it's a disadvantage. But I'm not gonna, throw you under the bus. I'm here to help you. This market is big enough, not just for one person. The real estate industry is big enough to accommodate everybody. 50,000 agents in Washington alone. And when the market shifted last year, or this year, early this year, I think we're down to 35,000. But that's besides the point. So the question is, how would it be better for me as a realtor, not having any military experience, to understand our military clients? Okay. First of all, you gotta dive deep into the thoughts of how the military works when it comes to a service member, a family member at that, with the intent of purchasing a single family home or any establishment. Us in the military, we don't have a lot of time. The majority of us has probably not been to that locale that you represent. Let me give you an example. One of the third largest fleet activity center in all 50 states, actually around the world, that the United States military owns in federal land, is the Pacific Northwest. We have, I think, big or small, I think we have 10 military facilities here, counting the single Army base and the 2 Air Force bases that is within the scope, geographical responsibility of the Northwest. That's a lot. So as agents, we tend to know where to go. If you are agent of whatever office in Oak Harbor, you already know where to go, where to take them, Oak Harbor. If you are an agent in Bremerton, you already know where to take them, right? Bremerton, Port Orchard, Silverdale, Poulsbo. It's different when you're in Everett, because you have like 3 different counties that you can go to. So what really is important for these service members? You cannot treat them just like a regular civilian, because some of them that may be getting stationed here really have no clue of the general area that you may want to talk about. I understand that Google, Zillow, Redfin, and the other associated brokerage websites are there for them to search through. But there's nothing more important and vital to this connection than you with the homeowner, to be able to express to them, if I live in Marysville, Washington, and if you Google map Marysville, Washington, I'm only 8 miles north of Naval Station Everett. It's an advantage for me because I know everything. Like, I know everything from the Northwest, from the border to Vancouver down south, right? But it is an advantage for me to know where I could fit them. Now, why is this tantamountly vital? Because these folks do not have a lot of time, especially those that are coming here. They got a family to move. We have what we call PCSing, permanent change of station. Their orders tells them they got to be on that day to report at that time. So that tells you what? They probably only have less than 10 days, 2 weeks the most to search for a home. If they haven't, most military service members are busy. I think you guys know what they do for a living. And it is your responsibility. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I represent one service member at any given time. The most would be 2, because it derives a lot of, it requires time spent with them. Time that they know that every day, every hour of that day is vital. You got to find a place. You got to direct them to the right place. Now let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about Kitsap, the county of Kitsap. Now I live on this side, but I can tell you that there are agents out there in Kitsap. They may know the area, but showing houses, each area is different. Port Orchard is not Bremerton. Bremerton is not Silverdale, though they're only like a block away from each other, especially the northern side. You don't know which one, where to begin, where Silverdale, Paulsbo, and Mill Creek, Silverdale, Paulsbo, and North Bremerton changes. Okay? So what that means is that it is vital you find out really what they need, not what they want. Right? Great houses in Port Orchard, right? Cheap. That is why it is a Navy town. Although you got to take that 12-mile loop just to get to Port Orchard. Now, why is that vital? Why am I citing that example? Most military service members gets off, well, during my time, past 5 o'clock. Now they get off, depending on the rate. Some of them get up before 3 o'clock, and some of them get off at 4, and some of them get off at 5. That doesn't even count duty days, right? Understand that before they go home, they got to go to work. And these military facilities does not afford the luxury of parking or convenient parking, which means they got to beat each other up. Now, Bremerton is not big. Naval Station Everett, you're going to find some places to park. It's a big base for parking. And there's only 8 small ships. They don't have a carrier there. The 8 ships in there, probably tantamount 2,400 man crew. That's even less than the 3,000 man crew of an aircraft carrier without the air wing. With the air wings of 5,500. There's not a lot of parking spots. So what does that mean? They try to beat each other up. So if you're going to show them a home 10 miles south of Port Orchard or 10 miles north of Paulsbo, what time do you think they have to wake up to beat everybody up? To beat everyone to get to parking in Naval Station Bremerton. Now, Bangor's a little bit different. There's not a lot of service members there. There's only, how many, do we have 6 boomers up there? Okay, you tell me. Right? So that's not a lot of service members. So they can afford parking. Naval Station Everett, 8 small ships, and you got a bus line system that takes them to the pier, whatever. But Bremerton, if you're going to show them a house 10 miles north of Silverdale, oh, they're going to get pissed off at you. And you're probably going to lose them. Right? Remember, they don't have time. They don't have time. So that's vitally important. Find out where on base they work. what time they gotta go to work, what time they gotta go home. You get out of that main gate in Bremerton and you live in Port Orchard at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, good luck in getting home in an hour. Now, if you live in Oak Harbor, where the Naval Air Station Whidbey Island is, everybody knows. So I gotta live in Oak Harbor, Swantown, Northeast section, South by Pioneer, or take it all the way down to the brand new constructions down south by Marine View Drive. Yes, it is also called Marine View Drive. Anywhere in there, you can get to the base in 10 to 20 minutes. Now, not unless you take them down past Coopville, Langley, Freeland, or all the way to Anacortes. Ain't that amazing? It's 53 miles from me. Yet I know all of this because I've bought enough homes for our service members. Naval Station Everett is a different matter because it encompasses 30 minutes north, south, east is a big area. So I'm not saying it's not vitally important where you find a house. Case in point, last year I was assisting Chief Bermudez out of my last ship, the USS John S. McCain. They were willing to go as far as Sultan, Washington. Sultan, Washington, right? Brand new home, really nice homes. But just to get back to I-5 is going to require you a 30, 40-minute drive on a single lane highway all the way to Arlington. I was the one that told them not to buy the house. I could have gotten a bigger commission, but I told them not here. We could find something else closer. So now he's a neighbor of mine like 3-4 miles away in Marysville. They're happy, they're ecstatic. So you got to know what they want and distance, all right? Secondly, VA benefits. If you have not worked with a VA appraiser, almost every lender they're going to say they're VA specialist. Fly. Sorry, I'm in my garage. I prefer to talk and make videos in my garage rather than my office inside because my little pet, my little mutt in there loves scratching at me for treats and whatever. So it kind of disturbs me sometimes, but I love her. So VA benefits. If you are not familiarize yourself with VA inspection, appraisers, appraisals, and the talking points when it comes to if you're representing a buyer especially and you see that term mortgage services VA, I'm expecting the listing agent knows what the requirements are for this house to sell when a VA appraiser walks in, because I don't need that issue. Okay, that's the biggest difference, I do believe. Appraisals and inspections for VA benefits. We already know that you get 0 down payments. Now, does it also beneficial? Is it also beneficial for my buyer or my client to use VA? On some occasions, no. All right. Now, again, that's a different topic of conversation. So you have to understand where your client's coming from. Do they have enough money for a down payment? Enough money for a closing cost to even negotiate for a lower price? Then we're going to get a counter offer, stuff like that. As agents, you know that already. But as long as you're familiar with the fundamentals of the VA benefits, you're good to go. Okay. I also have the distinct advantage of talking about sea stories, which most civilian realtors probably do not have. So what I suggest is that they just want to, most of these service members that has not been to your locale, to their locale eventually, are not going to be intimidated. They're in the military, man. That's the last thing that we care about. They want to be appreciated on a different level. They don't need, though ironically, they don't need the thanks and the accolades, but they will see you. They will see it in your eyes if you mean what you say when you say thank you for their service. Real blunt and simple, isn't it? That's all they ask, right? And that's when the rapport starts, okay? You don't need to be like me that will talk about, oh, what did we do in the Persian Gulf in 2001 that makes it different from 1993? No. Or what is it about crossing the line? Or old sea stories like frigates getting sea sub. You guys don't need to know that. But Yeah, I can go on and on and on. These folks deploy. That means they leave their spouses, their families, and their dependents behind. There is nothing more heartwarming to talk about than to see it in their eyes that they don't like leaving their families behind. I certainly didn't. When I was single as a service member, I loved it. Oh my God, get to different ports and uh, carefree world. Till my kids are older now; they're all both adults now, and I worry. I still worry. My God, my daughter only lives 30 miles from me. I worry every day. What more if these service members that you are representing are half a world away? You think about that. You think about what they're thinking about on, God forbid, what's happening on the other side of the world where they live. And it starts with that house that you're going to show them, that you're going to entitle those families to live in. Think about that. All right? Position yourself in her place when they have a 1 time zone to 12 time zone. I was 14 times. We went around the wrong way. We're West Coast based. I've been West Coast based all my life. Yet when you go to the Persian Gulf, you are 14 time zones away from the West Coast. So that's a long trip, which is only 10 time zones away from the East Coast. Minus 7, that's only 78 time zones away. All right? So position yourselves in their predicament. And how you could alleviate that is that you find a house in a military establishment that is, you find a house as close as you can to military other service members. It's not hard to find, especially in Kitsap County. Port Orchard is a military town. Bremerton is a military town. Silverdale is a military town. Paulsville, mostly. Why I say that is because Paulsville homes are a little bit more expensive. So even though you're a command master chief or retired, senior chief, you may want to stick around in the Silverdale, Port Orchard area. Naval Station Everett, though, since there's only a few service members, a few thousand service members in the neighborhood, and it's a big area, you can take a pick. You can explain to them, hey, look, we are close to the commissary here. We are close to Jim Creek Naval Reservation. It's a 55,000 acre camping ground for the Navy. We are close to, you're in between the air station. You can talk to them about that. So know the neighborhood and ensure them that this would be the safest place for their families. You sell them the house. It's not just about the service member that's going to own that house. It is also about the dependents, the kids, the spouse that's going to be left behind. And know your surrounding locale, right? It's easier in the Kitsap area because it's a military town. Probably even easier in the Oak Harbor area because the whole northern Whidbey Island revolves around that air station. And that air station is not going to go away because it is the only base that the United States military, not just the Navy, but the whole United States military relies on for electronic attack squadron platforms, right? Everett might be a little bit different. You're going to have to scope around the area and know. Now, all of these are information that you should know even before our service members could come here. It is so easy to get a hold of anybody now. You don't have to send smoke signals to communicate with these people, and they don't need to do that with you. The phones are the bygone days. Texting, video, chat rooms, etc., etc. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know I've created videos enough on this matter, but it is this is close to me. And if there is a service member out there listening to this video that have seen this video, I am not the only realtor that I'm going to consider myself somebody that knows more than your average realtor when it comes to military representations. There are a whole ton of us out there. But I want you to be safe. I want you to be taken care of. And to the agents out there that has asked this question about it through me, hopefully the answers that you just heard allows you to represent them better. Last thing I really want to learn is some service member who was misrepresented by their agent because they didn't try enough. Horror stories. We prospect too much. We just want the thing to close. If you're military and those are not your gains and those are not your priorities, just call me. I'll represent them. Right? I won't ask you why you're not able to, but I will drop whatever my contracts are. I will represent those military service members. So hopefully you guys learn from it. All right, you guys, it has been a pleasure, a privilege, and an honor to have served. To all these men and women, our brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters, wherever you guys may be, come on home if you're forward deployed. If not, that means you're going to be deployed, maybe in the next cycle or two. We love you. You guys take care. It's been an honor, folks.